Hello, it's Simon Zutshi here, and in this video I want to share with you what I believe is one of the most important things for you to be a successful property investor, and that is having the correct mindset. Mindset is critically important, not just in property, but anything you want to do in your life. If you have a right mindset, you can do it. If you don't have the right mindset, it's going to be very, very difficult. So what do I mean by mindset? Well, I like to keep things simple, and I like to break the mindset down into the A, B, C of mindset. So first of all, A is for attitude. A is about having the can-do positive attitude, that there's always a solution. You see, in property, very often things go wrong. And you can either dwell on the problem and feel sorry for yourself, or you can say, okay, there's going to be a solution here. And as a property problem solver, we're always looking to solve problems for other people. So attitude and having that can-do attitude and the glass is half full is really important. Now, your attitude often comes from your environment and your beliefs. So B stands for belief. And that means what's the belief that is actually possible? What do we think can be done? And then what do we think that we can personally do? So if you think it's impossible to find motivated sellers in your area, or you think it's impossible to find people who will lend you money, or you think it's impossible to replace your income, guess what? If that's what you believe, you're absolutely right. Henry Ford had a great quote. He said, if you think you can or think you can't, you're absolutely right. So you've got to be very careful the beliefs you have. And those have come up from our childhood and our environment and what we listen to and people we speak to. So we can actually change our beliefs. And the way we can do that is we can, if we want to replace our income, for example, all we have to do is find other people who've actually done it. And if they've done it, well, surely it means it's possible. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to do it. So we first of all need to make sure that we're finding people who can inspire us, who we can learn from, and then we need to change our thinking to say, well, if they can do it, maybe I can also do this as well. So belief is absolutely critical. And then the third element from the ABC, A is for attitude, B is belief, C is for courage. It's about having the confidence to step outside of your comfort zone and achieve whatever you want to achieve in your life. And I believe your success is waiting for you just outside your comfort zone. Because if you do what you've always done, and we do that as humans, we're creatures of habit, we tend to do the same things. But if you do the same things, you'll get the same results. You see, the actions you take will lead to certain results, which then gives you certain behavior because you respond to the results you get. So we need to change the things we do. And the way we do that is by doing things different. If we want change in our life, we have to be the element of change. We have to change first of all. And so stepping outside your comfort zone feels awkward or uncomfortable, and we're worried about things. But when you actually do it, you find it's not really as bad as you thought it might be. So that's the A, B, C, attitude, belief, courage of mindset. So how can you work on your mindset? How can you improve your mindset? And I believe this is something that we consistently need to do. So what I do is I like to surround myself with like-minded people. I fly to America for 2 separate mastermind groups I'm in. Anywhere between 3 and 5 times a year, I'm flying all the way to America. It's expensive to go, it takes a lot of time, but I do it because I want to put myself in an environment where I'm not the smartest person. I want to be stretched. I want other people around me to stimulate my thinking and look at what they do and think, well, if they can do it, I can do it as well. I want to be inspired. So think about your environment. Now, on a slightly lesser scale, you could go to your local property investor network meeting. If you're interested in investing in property, probably the people around you, your family, your friends, your work colleagues, they probably don't get it. And if you listen to them, they might say, oh, it's not a good time to invest. And I agree, if you don't know what you're doing, it's not a good time to invest. But if you do know what you're doing, now is a fantastic time to invest because there's so much uncertainty. So sometimes you've got to go slightly against what the general population think. By going to a PIN meeting, you're getting yourself around like-minded people who, if you say you want to replace your income in a year, they're not going to say, oh, that's crazy, you'll never do that. They say, wow, that's amazing. How are you going to do it? How can I help you? It's a totally different way of thinking, totally different environment. So put yourself into the environment first of all. Secondly, be very careful what you put into your head. Stop watching the news on TV and listening to news on or even reading newspapers. It's important to know what's going on in the world. I get that. But there's so much negativity in the press. If you allow that to come into you, well, probably it's going to make you a slightly more negative person. It's not going to help the right attitude. So instead, choose what you put into your head. You can listen to great audiobooks. That's why I wrote Property Magic. It's now available as an audiobook on Audible. Podcasts, you can listen to successful people. We just released a Property Magic podcast. You can get it on iTunes, on Google Play, on Spotify. It's completely free. And what you can do is you can download these kind of things and choose to listen to those that are going to inspire you and motivate you, rather than things that's going to neg you out and make you think what a terrible place the world is. So be very careful on what you put into your head. And finally, be careful about your attitude, what you say to other people and what you say to yourself. That little voice in your head. You might think, I don't have any little voices. Well, that's the little voice, by the way. Be careful what that's saying to yourself, because sometimes we can talk ourselves out of things. We can sometimes say, it's okay for them, but you'll never be able to do that. You got to stop listening to that voice. You got to be careful of the language you're putting out there, because language and words have energy. So be conscious of what you're saying, what you're thinking, and that's the final way to help with your mindset. So I do hope that's been useful. I believe that mindset's the most important thing. Anything you want to do in your life, you've got to have the right mindset. And that's because I meet people who, they know what to do, they've got the knowledge, they know the strategies, but they don't take action because they don't have the right mindset. So if that's you, maybe you want to start thinking about how you can improve your mindset. And I hope we can help you with that. Go and get the audio copy of Property Magic. Go and download the free Property Magic podcast. And I hope on a weekly basis I can help inspire you and slowly get you to change your mindset so you've got the right mindset to be a successful investor. So my name is Simon Zutshi. As always, I encourage you to invest with knowledge, invest with skill.